Huh. Okay. Hello everyone, very good evening. I welcome you all at India's most comprehensive preparation platform for all competitive exams, that is BYJU'S Exam Prep. So guys, today in this Prarambh series, this is the last session of compiler design and these are the last topics which we need to discuss in the compiler design. Okay, so we need to learn what is liveness analysis. We'll see what is runtime environment, and apart from that, we will also see static single assignment, which we could not complete in the last session. So I'll not leave that topic as well. Okay, so एक announcement है 23rd of August से बायजूस एग्जाम प्रेप की टीम एक नई सीरीज लेकर के आ रही है, जिसके अंदर हम लोग IISc बेंगलोर ने जितने भी प्रीवियस ईयर उसमें गेट पेपर को ऑर्गेनाइज किए हैं, वो सारे के सारे प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस हम लोग आपके साथ डिस्कस करने वाले हैं. ठीक है, सो दैट विल स्टार्ट फ्रॉम 23rd of August. Okay, now this is brief introduction of myself. My name is Vishal Rawatiya. I have 10 plus years of teaching experience. Following are the achievements and areas of expertise. Okay guys, so what is a live variable? Please try to understand what is a live variable. If you have a variable x, तो वो किसी स्टेटमेंट एस आई पर लाइव होगा सिर्फ और सिर्फ कब, जब वो सेम वैल्यू ऑफ एक्स यूज की जा सके अलोंग दी पाथ इन दी फ्लो ग्राफ. आई एक्सप्लेन व्हाट डज इट मीन. बट अलोंग दी पाथ आपकी जो वैल्यू ऑफ एक्स है, अगर उसको सेम वैल्यू ऑफ एक्स को यूज कर सकते हो, तो मैं बोलता हूं कि आपका वेरिएबल एक्स एट स्टेटमेंट एस आई लाइव है. अदरवाइज आपका स्टेटमेंट एक्स एस आई पे डेड है. और इससे पहले कि वो वेरिएबल एक्स यूज हो रहा हो, इन बिटवीन उसके अंदर कोई असाइनमेंट नहीं होना चाहिए. गेटिंग द आइडिया, देयर शुड नॉट बी एनी असाइनमेंट टू एक्स बिफोर इट इज यूज्ड. सो प्लीज ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड कि अगर मैं किसी स्टेटमेंट एस आई पर हूं, अगर मैं किसी स्टेटमेंट एस आई पर हूं और कोई मुझसे पूछ रहा है कि वेरिएबल एक्स इस स्टेटमेंट एस आई पर लाइव है या नहीं, तो उसका सिंपल मीनिंग क्या है. Consider कि just before start executing this statement SI, just before start executing this statement SI, whatever the value present in this variable x, if the same value of x can be used by any of the following statements in the program without the value of x being updated, तो मैं बोलता हूं x live है. अगर इसकी सेम वैल्यू ऑफ x आगे चल करके यूज की जा सकती है, नॉट दी अपडेटेड वैल्यू ऑफ x, सेम वैल्यू ऑफ x जो स्टेटमेंट x i के एग्जीक्यूशन के स्टार्ट होने से पहले है, अगर वो सेम वैल्यू ऑफ x si से स्टार्ट करके आगे कहीं पर यूज की जा सकती है, तो मैं बोलता हूं स्टेटमेंट आपका वेरिएबल x लाइव है, अदरवाइज वेरिएबल x डेड है. ओके, सो find live variable at every statement. So let's look at this. Sir, statement S1 पर कौन कौन से वेरिएबल लाइव हैं? स्टेटमेंट S1 पर कौन कौन से वेरिएबल लाइव हैं? तो क्या स्टेटमेंट S1 पर x लाइव है? क्या स्टेटमेंट S1 पर x लाइव है? क्या स्टेटमेंट S1 पर y लाइव है? क्या स्टेटमेंट S1 पर a लाइव है? क्या z लाइव है? क्या u लाइव है? क्या v लाइव है? So these are the 6 variable. These are the 6 variable in the statement. Sir, x is a variable, y is a variable, z is a variable, a is a variable, u is a variable, and v is a variable. So, what among these 6 variable are live at statement S1? So, this is the flow graph. This is the flow graph, right? So, along the path, कौन-कौन से variables हैं जिनकी जो present value है before starting the execution of statement S1 वो use की जा सकती है. ठीक है, सो लेट्स ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस. सर क्या x लाइव है? नहीं सर, x यूज होने से पहले अपडेट हो जा रहा है. अगर मान लो कि अगर x की इनिशियल वैल्यू 0 होती, तो क्या 0 को कोई आगे S1 से स्टार्ट करके कोई भी स्टेटमेंट x की 0 वैल्यू यूज कर रहा है? नहीं सर, सो x इज डेड. सर क्या y लाइव है? सर y तो कहीं यूज ही नहीं हो रहा, y तो कहीं यूज ही नहीं हो रहा, y तो कहीं यूज ही नहीं हो रहा. y की वैल्यू तो सिर्फ अपडेट हो रही है, y की वैल्यू तो सिर्फ अपडेट हो रही है. Voice is not audible. Am I not audible? Everybody, am I not audible, or this is the problem only with Shangu? Am I audible or not? Am I audible or not? Or this is the problem only with audible and visible, sir? No, it's not muted. Shangu is saying it's audible and visible. Adukshas Patki, kindly confirm your connection. Shangu is saying I am audible and visible. Yes, audible. So if anyone can hear me, then obviously I am audible. Okay. So please look at this. Sir, the same value of x cannot be used. The same value of y, y is not at all being used. So it's also dead. Now what about variable a? Sir, whatever the value of variable a, it can be used in statement 3. It can be used in statement 3, and before it is being used, no other assignment to variable a. Before it is being used, no other assignment to variable a. Therefore, variable a is live. Sir, what about z? Sir, z is also not being used by any of these statements. Sir, u as well as v are being used, and no other assignment to u and v before their use. So, u and v are live. So, what are the variables which are live? What are the variables which are live at a statement S1? So, the variables which are live at a statement S1 are a, u and v. Is this clear to everybody? Is this clear to everybody that the variables which are live at statement S1 are a, u and v? Please confirm. If this is clear, then only we can move ahead. Clear. Okay. Now let's look at statement S2. So at statement S2, again same combination x, y, a, z, u, v. Right? So obviously y and z cannot be live for any at any statement, because y and z are not being used by any statement. They are only being updated. Now x, sir, yes, whatever the value of x is just before starting the execution of statement S2, it can be used in the statement S2 itself. Therefore x is live, y is not live, a is still live, u and v are also live. Clear? So the statement S2, 4 variables are live: x, a, u and v. Clear? Next, at statement S3, what are the variables which are live? What are the variables which are live? Sir, x can still be used without any intermediate assignment. So x is live, a is live, u is live and v is live. Same at statement S2 and S3, exact same set of variables are live. No difference. No difference. Clear? Sir, at statement S4, what are the variables which are live? Sir, at statement S4, let's look at this. Sir, x is not live. X, y, a, z, u, v. So, the only two variables which are being used after or starting from statement S4 are u and v. X is not being used, y is not being used, a is not being used, z is not being used. Therefore, the only two variables which are live at this statement S4 are u and v. Clear? Is this clear? That what are the variables which are live? Chalo, it will be more clear in the next example. So find the live variable at every statement. Find the live variable at every statement. So please let me define the variables. V is one variable, Z is another variable, X is another variable, Y is another variable, W is another variable, X, Z, Y are done, U is another variable, V is another variable. These are the only 7 variables. V done, Z done, X done, Z done, V done, Y done, X done, W done, X done, Z done, Y done, U done, Z done, V done, U done, W done, Y done, V and U. Good evening, Mahesh. Okay, so let's look at this. Sir, whatever the value of variable v, can it be used? No, sir, v is being updated. So, no, it is not live. Z, 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 Z. Sir, before the Z is being used, it is being assigned. So, Z is also not live. Sir, X is also being assigned. Sir, Y. Sir, before Y is being used, it is being updated. So, Y is also not live. Sir, W. Sir, W is being updated. Sir, U is being updated. Sir, V is also being, V is live. V is, no. At statement S1, V, I have written V twice. So, there is no variable which is live at statement 1. Clear? No variable which is live at statement 1. Now, let's look at statement 2. Sir, V becomes live at statement 2. Because whatever the value of variable V just before starting the execution of statement S2, the same value can be used in statement S2 itself. Therefore, V is live. So, Z is being updated, so it is not live. X is being updated, it is not live. Y is being updated before it is being used, not live. W is being updated, U is being updated. Clear? Let's look at statement S3. Sir, V is still live. At this point of time, Z is also live. Both V and Z, whatever the value of Z and V just before starting the execution of statement S3 can be used. Right? So, the same values of Z and V just before starting the execution of statement S3 can be used in the statement S3 itself. Therefore, V and Z both are live. X is not live, obviously. Y is not live. W is not live. U is not live. Clear? What about variables at statement 4? Sir, let's look at this. X is live. X becomes live all of a sudden. Now, what about V? Sir, V. Sir, V is being updated. Before it is being used. So, V becomes dead at this point of time. Sir, Z. The statement S4, whatever the value of Z, it can be used in statement 5 starting from statement S4 without any updation. So, Z is live. So, what about Y? Sir, Y is dead. So, what about W? W is dead. And what about U? U is also dead. Clear? Please look at this. I mean, once you have understood this, that what am I doing, then you will know what is a live variable, how to define that whether a variable is live or dead. Now, at statement 5, sir, X, Z and Y are definitely live. X, Z and Y are definitely live because they are being used in the statement 5 itself. Now, what about W? So, W is Z. W is dead. What about V? V. Sir, before V is being used, it is being updated. So, V is also dead. Sir, U is also being updated. So, U is also dead. Sir, let's look at, this is with respect to statement 5. Don't get confused because of, let me write. Now, with respect to statement 6, Z is a live variable. What else? Sir, now tell me, V is live? No, sir. Sir, X is dead because X is not being used after starting from statement 6. Similarly, Y, sir, Y is live at this point of time. So, what about W? W is live at statement 6. Why? Because it can be used in statement 7 without any updation. U is dead. Clear? Now, let's go to statement 7. Sir, it is statement 7, U, W and Y are definitely live. U, W and Y are definitely live. U, W, Y are live. V is dead. Z is dead. X is dead. Now, at statement 8, only two variables which are live are V and U. All other are dead. Clear? Sir, in statement 6, Y is live. Here, look at this. Y can be used. Whatever the value of Y, let's assume Y equals to 0. Whatever the value of Y is just before starting the execution of statement 6, the same value of Y can be used along the path in flow graph. Clear? Anil, is this clear? that the value of y can be used in statement 7 starting from the execution of statement 6 without any updation in variable y. I hope it's clear. That's the basic definition. I mean, you may get different type of definitions, but the simplest definition is that if you are extending at a statement si, then whatever the value present in variable x, if the same value of x can be used along the path of execution, then x is live. If the updated value is being used, then it is dead. If the updated value is being used, then it is dead. Now, it is a question from GATE exam. The variables which are live both at a statement in basic block 2 and at the statement in basic block 3. So, what are the variables which are live at 2 as well as at 3? So, what are the variables which are live at 2 as well as at 3? So, which are live at both means the common variables which are live at 2 as well as at 3. So, let's do this for the last time, and I guess after that you all will understand this. So, sir, what are the different variables? P, Q, R, S, P, Q, R, S, P, Q, R, S, P, Q, S, R, U, V, P, Q, R, S, U, V, P, Q, R, S, U, V. Yes, sir. These are the variables. P, Q, R, S, U, V. Clear? Now, let's look at this. Sir, P. So, let's look at the path flow graph. Sir, from 2, you can reach to 4. From 4, you can reach to 1. Right? So, from 2, you can reach to 4. From 4, you can reach to 1. In basic block 1, variable P is being used, but before it is being used, it is being updated. Therefore, P is dead. Q is being updated in the statement 4 itself, or the basic block 4 itself. Therefore, Q is also dead. Sir, R and U are definitely live. Because they are being used in the statement 2 itself. So, R is live, U is live. Sir, what about S? Sir, before S is being used, it is being updated here. So, S is also dead. What about V? Sir, V is being updated in the statement 2 itself. Therefore, V is also dead. Clear? So, the only two variables which are live at statement or basic block 2 are R and U. Clear? Now, please, if you have understood the process, then please tell me what are the different variables which are live at basic block 3. Try to solve this. What are the variables which are live at the beginning of basic block 3? Please give me the answer. What are the variables which are live at the beginning of basic block 3? Can you please tell me the answer? Only two variables, Angu? No, please think. Sir, S and U are definitely live. It is for sure that S and U are definitely live. But what about other? Sir. Let's look at this. Starting from statement 3, from 3 we can reach to 4, and we can also use V and R before any updation. We can also use V as well as R before any updation. But P is being updated. So, the path for P is 3 to 4 and 4 to 1. In basic block 1, P is being used, but before it is being used, it is being updated. Therefore, P is dead. And Q is being updated in the statement 3 itself. Therefore, Q is also dead. So, 4 variables R, S, U and V are live. R, S, U and V are live at statement 3. Clear? Why not V? Why not V, Chaturdlingam? Why not V, Anil? Why not V? Because V is also being used along the path starting from statement 3 before any updation into variable V. Yes or no? Yes or no? So, yes, obviously. So, sir, R and U are live at 2. R, S, U and V are live at 3. So, what are the common variables which are live? Sir, the variables which are live at both basic block 2 as well as the basic block 3 are R and U. Clear? Clear? So this is the simple concept of liveness analysis. Now, this are with respect to statement. This definition is with respect to statement. They may also ask you that what are the variables which are live at the beginning of this node 1, at the beginning of the basic block 1. So for that particular concept, try to understand the concept of liveness analysis with respect to basic blocks. The liveness analysis with respect to basic blocks. What does it say? A node n, whatever, a node n may be an individual statement or a basic block. So they may ask you whether a variable is live at a particular statement, or they may ask you whether a variable is live at the beginning of a basic block. Clear? So now let's try to understand. So it may also be a basic block. It may also be a basic block. You already know that how to define the variables which are live with respect to an statement. You already know how to define the variables which are live at the beginning of an statement. But what happens if they ask that what are the variables which are live at the beginning of a basic block? At the beginning of a basic block. So this time you will give the answer with respect to complete basic block, not with respect to an individual statement. You will give the answer with respect to the complete basic block, not with respect to an individual statement. So please try to understand that from any basic block there will be some outgoing edges. From any basic block there will be some outgoing edges, and the basic blocks corresponding to those outgoing edges, are called successor of this basic block 1. Clear? So please try to understand that this, let's assume that node n is my basic block. Let's assume node n is my basic block. Now, outgoing edges from node n leads to successor of n. Denoted by successor n. So what are the successors? Look at this diagram. What are the successors of basic block 1? What are the successors of basic block 1? So successor of basic block 1 is basic block 2 and basic block 3. Successor of basic block 1 is basic block 2 and basic block 3. Clear? Now, liveness of a variable flow around the edges of the graph. Please try to understand this. Liveness of a variable flow around the edges of the graph. So this time we'll eventually see that what are the variables which are live at this particular edge. What are the variables which are live at this particular edge? If you are thinking in terms of basic blocks, then what are the variables which are live at this particular edge? Here also you can think in the similar manner that what are the variables which are live at this particular edge. What are the variables which are live at this particular edge? At this particular edge means just before starting the execution of statement S3. At this particular edge means just before starting the execution of statement S3. So similar meaning, but in a context of basic block. So liveness of a variable flows around the edges of the graph. Now, there are certain terms which are defined. So please try to understand. They define n is nothing but the set of variables defined by node n. That is, the variables in which the values are being assigned in the node n. The variables in which the values are being assigned in the node n. So please look at this. If I say, so what is being defined in variable in the basic block 1? What is being defined in the basic block 1? So three variables P, S and U. Three variables P, S and U are being defined in the basic block 1. Clear? Similarly, so what are the variables which are being defined in the basic block 3? So the only variable which is being defined in the basic block 3 is Q. Clear? So this defined n is nothing but a set of variables which are being defined inside the node n, means the variables in which the values are being assigned into that particular node. Clear? Now, so what is use of n? Use of n is nothing but the set of variables used in node n. The set of variables, use means the variables which are being read. Define n means the variables which are being written into this basic block n. Use n means the variables which are being read into the basic block n. But before any assignment in the same basic block, before any assignment in the same basic block. So please, let's look at this. Sir, what are the variables which are being used in basic block 1? So please try to understand. Let me first write all the variables. So it is what, sir? P is there, Q is there, R is there, S is there, P, Q, R, S and U is there. Now my question is P. So is there any statement in this basic block P which reads the value of P before any assignment to P in this block itself? No, sir. P is first being assigned, then it is being read. P is first being assigned, then it is being read. Therefore, it is not in the use set of basic block 1. Sir, Q is being used, R is being used. So obviously Q and R in the use set. Sir, S is being used, but before it is being used, it is being assigned in the same basic block. Therefore, S is also not. So what about U? Sir, U. So tell me, U is being used in this basic block 1 or not being used? Sir, U is being used, but because you may actually say, sir, the value is being assigned into the variable U, but before it is being assigned, it is being used. So it is being used first or being assigned first? Sir, the value of U is being used first. Yes, so U is also being used. So the variables which are being used in the basic block 1 are Q, R and V. Clear? The definition of define and use are clear. Definitions of define and use are clear to everybody. Okay. Now in N, what is this, sir? In N, it is the set of variables which are live at the starting of node N. If somebody asks me that, sir, what are the variables which are live at the starting of basic block 1? What are the variables which are live at the starting of basic block 1? So one thing is guaranteed, that all the variables which are being used or which are part of this set use 1 are definitely live when you go inside this particular node, because they are anyway live at this particular statement. Yes or no? They are anyway live at this particular statement. So all the variables which are there in the use set, are definitely live with respect to this basic block 1. Clear? So that's the definition that we'll understand in a while. So basically, when I say that what are the variables which are live when you go inside the node N? So definitely the variables which are there in the set use N are guaranteed to be live. Apart from that, some other things may also be live. Clear? But what other things may be live, that we will understand in a while. But definitely the variables which are in the use set with respect to a basic block are definitely live. Clear? Now let's look at out of N. That is, what are the variables which are live when you are coming out of that basic block N? So set of variables which are live at the end of node N. What does it mean? That is, when you come out of this basic block 1, what are the variables which are live? When you come out of this basic block 1, what are the variables which are live? हाँ बेटा अनिल, आज कंपाइलर का लास्ट लेक्चर है. Clear? So what are the variables which are live when you come out of this? So please try to understand. Sir, the union of the variables which are live when you go inside this node 2 and the variables which are live when you go inside this node 3 are definitely live when you are coming outside this node 1. Yes or no? Please try to understand this. That, sir, the variables which are live when you go inside this basic block 2 and the variables which are live when you go inside this basic block 3 are the variables which are live when you come outside this basic block 1. Yes or no? And what 2 and 3? Sir, 2 and 3 are basically the successor of this basic block 1. Are nothing but the successor of basic block 1. So that's the idea. Sir, basically out of N is nothing. But the set of variables which are live when you go inside the successors of node N. So S is nothing but the successor of node N. N is nothing but the successor of node n. So if I try to define, please, if I try to define that, sir, what are the variables which are live when you come out of node 1? So what are the successors? Sir, the successor is 2 and successor is 3. So the union of variables which are live when you go inside the node 2 and the variables which are live when you go inside the node 3, the union of those variables is basically the variables which are live when you are coming out of node 1. Those are the variables which are live when you are coming out of node 1. Clear? Clear? Is this definition clear to everybody? This much is clear, that what do I mean by definition of n, what do I mean by use in n, what do I mean by in n, what do I mean by out in n. Clear? Now I can actually define these two formulas. If you understood this, then I can actually define these two formulas. Sir, what? Sir, out of n is understood by everybody, that the variables which will be live when you are coming out of node n is nothing but the variables which are live when you are going inside the successor of node n. Clear? The union of the variables which are live when you go inside the successor of node n. Apart from that, sir, what are the variables which are live when you go inside this node n? So please try to understand. Sir, all the variables which are being used, in this basic block 1 are definitely live. That is Q, R and V are definitely live. But there are some variables which are live when you are going outside this node n. There are some variables which are live when you are going outside this node n. Out of those variables, some have been updated in this basic block 1. So if they have been updated in between, then definitely before starting the basic block, those cannot be live. But the variables which are live when you are going outside the node n, if they are not being updated in the basic block 1, then definitely those will be live when you are going inside this basic block 1. So please, let's give you an example. Let me give you an example. Sir, PSU, Q, R. Yeah, it may not be clear here, but I mean, that's fine. I mean, is it clear to everybody what I'm trying to say? That if somebody asks you that, sir, what are the variables which are live when you go inside this basic blocks, and then all the variables which are being used here without any prior assignment are definitely live when you go inside this block. Apart from that, some of them may be of the type which are being used along the path. Some of them may be the one which are being used along the path but not being used inside this basic block 1 itself. Are not being used in this basic block 1 itself. So if they are live along the path, then those will basically be live when you are coming out. Those will be live when you are coming out of this basic block 1. So all the variables which are live when you come out of this basic block 1 will also be live when you are going inside this basic block 1, except the variables which are being updated in this basic block. Except the variables which are being updated in this basic block. So that's the idea. That in the variables which are live when you are going in the node n are definitely the variables which are being used in the node n. Along with that, there will be some variables which are live when you are coming outside this node n, which are live when you are coming out of this node n, but out of them, those will not be live which are being updated, because they may be being used after the basic block n, but they are being updated in the n first. So if they are being updated in the n first, then definitely they are not live. Clear? With respect to the nodes which are, with respect to the variables which are live when you are coming outside the node n. So you just need to remember these two things. The direct question may be asked, and the question has been asked in the past related to this particular definition, that what is in of n, what is out of n. The question has been asked related to this particular concept. Now, sir, we can define this particular scenario in this particular example, but the idea is that this algorithm is an iterative algorithm. After 3, 4, 5 rounds, it will converge. After 3, 4, 5 rounds, it will converge. You will keep doing that. What are the variables which are live when you are going outside this node n? So the variables which are live when you are going inside this node n, and the variables which are live which are when we are going inside this node n, union of those two will be the variables which are live when you are coming outside this node n. So keep doing this, keep iterating this. After a while, this algorithm will converge all the sets, all these sets will become stable. All the sets of in and out will become stable. Definitely, the set of define and use are not going to change ever. The sets use and define are not going to change. The only thing that is going to change is the out of n and in of n with the iteration, but after a while, they will become stable. After a while, they will become stable. Clear? So, I'll not waste your time for this particular thing. Even if a question is asked, then it will be related to this particular definition only. It will be related to this particular definition only. Otherwise, if somebody asks you that what are the variables which are live at this particular point of time, then you can normally judge it. That what are the variables which are live when you go here. Sir, obviously Q, R and V are live. Q, R and V are live. S is not live because S is being first updated. Sir, Q, R, V are live. That's all. These are the only 3 variables, Q, R and V. Q, R and V. P is not live because it is first being updated. S is not live, it is being first updated. U is also not live, and apart from that, there is no other variable. So you can directly check it. But if a question comes in this particular format, that what is the formula for the set of variables which are live when you go inside the node n, and what are the variables which are live when you come outside the node n, if in that particular manner the question is asked, then you must know this. Apart from that, you will always be able to solve the question. Clear? So this is it. Okay. So the next concept is static single assignment. The next concept is of static single assignment. Sir, what is this? बहुत सिंपल सा कॉन्सेप्ट है. ये सिर्फ ये बोलता है कि किसी वेरिएबल में एक से ज्यादा बार वैल्यू को स्टोर नहीं कर सकता और किसी भी वैल्यू को यूज करने से पहले उसको डिफाइन करना जरूरी है. So static single assignment says one thing. The static single assignment means every variable is allocated a value only once. That you cannot do one thing, that in T1 you are updating certain things once, and in the same variable T1 you are again updating something twice or second time. So you cannot do it. So if you have already updated in T1, then you cannot use this same variable T1 next time. You will have to use a new variable. So every variable is allocated a value. Every variable is allocated a value only once, and every variable is being defined before it is used. That means you cannot use anything which is not defined. That is the simple concept. So what does it mean? A variable cannot be used more than once in the LHS. So if you have used T1 once, you cannot use T1 anywhere else in the LHS. Apart from that, every variable is being defined before it is used. It's the same thing. So I'm just trying to give the interpretation of this particular thing, that every variable is allocated a value only once, means on the left hand side a variable cannot appear twice or more than twice. Clear? Sir, please take a marathon session with problem. Sangu, when I was अभी बाद में करेंगे. चलो, please, first of all, please try to understand this concept, that there cannot be multiple definition of the same variable. So please, if I write P implies Q plus R, and then I write P implies P plus R. If I write like this, P implies Q plus R and P implies P plus R. So tell me, this value of Q is coming from outside. This value of R is coming from outside. So please try to understand, Q is defined from outside, similarly R is defined from outside. So, and please look at this, Q and R. Yes, sir, there is only one definition of Q. There is only one definition of R. Q and R are being defined only once, that too outside. You may say, sir, that R is being used again, but the same value of R is being used now. The same value of R is being used. Is it being defined? Is it being defined again? That's my question. Sir, Q is being used only once, that too on the RHS part. So Q is defined from the outside. R is first time being used without being defined. Therefore, we are considering that it is being defined from the outside, or you can define it here also. You can define it here also. There will be nothing wrong with that. But we are assuming that first definition or the first definition of a variable is defined from outside itself if it is directly being used. Clear? Apart from that, let's look at this. Sir, how many times P is being defined? How many times P is being defined? How many times P is being defined? That's my question. How many times P is being defined? How many times variable P is being defined? 2. Yes. So you may see that P is appearing third time, but here it is being defined for the first time. Then the same value, or which has been defined previously, it is being used. It is being defined second time in this second statement. So P is defined twice. What do I mean? But here it says the variable cannot be used more than once. The variable cannot be used more than once. So if somebody tells me to convert this code into SSA, static single assignment, then I would, so please try to understand. There are two ways that I can simply write Q plus R, and I'll store it into P1. That okay, first time they are being stored in the P1. Here, this P is basically the last definition of P. This P is the last definition of P, and the last definition of P is actually P1. And then again, R is being used. This time we cannot reuse the variable P1. We will have to use a new variable P2. So this is the SSA. Is there any variable in which the value is being allocated twice? Is there any variable in which the value is being allocated twice? No, sir. There is no variable in which the value is being allocated twice, and every variable is being defined before it is being used. So you may say, sir, where are we defining Q and R? So if you want to make it more clear, then you can eventually write it like this, that first time let's define Q1 and then define R1. Then store it into P1. So you have defined P1, you have defined Q1 and R1 as well. Then you have defined P1. Then this P1 will be same as the previous definition, and this R is not updated. It is being used with respect to its old definition only. But this time it will be P2. So these are the same things. These are the same things. No variable is being allocated twice, and every variable is being used before it, or every variable is being defined before it is being used. Clear? Simple concept of SSA. Simple concept of SSA. Now this is again a gate question. This is again a gate question. Consider the following intermediate program in 3-address code. Consider the following intermediate program in 3-address code. So this is your program. Now the question is, which of the following corresponds to a static single assignment for the above code? Which of the following correspond to a static single assignment for the above code? Very simple question. Just observe it and you will get the answer. Just observe it and you will get the answer. Oh. It may be possible that, no. Which one is the correct answer? No, Sangu. No, Sangu. It's a gate question and they just try to, they are just trying to confuse. Nothing like that. So, Sangu, the option A can never be correct because you are using the same variable P1 twice on the left hand side. Is it allowed? Is it allowed? First tell me, is it allowed? Is it allowed in the SSA? No, sir, it is not allowed in the SSA. So option A can definitely be not the correct answer. Option A is the wrong answer. So the very first thing which you can say is that option A is the wrong answer. Clear? Now let's try to understand this. Sir, please let's assume this. Sir, A minus B. let's store it into some variable p1. Let's store it into some variable p1. Now, this p is being used, so it is the last definition of p, and the last definition with respect to my example is p1, and it will be multiplied with c, and let's assume it is being stored in q1. Let's assume that it is being stored in q1. Now what does it say? Sir, u is coming from outside, v is also coming from outside, and it is being stored in p. But we cannot use the same p, you will have to use a different variable. So let's use p2 this time. Let's use p2. So there it says p, so this p will be with respect to last definition. The last definition of p is p2, right? And this q is with respect to its last definition of this q, that is q1. P2 plus Q1. Now you need to store it into Q, but you cannot use the same Q1, you will have to use some Q2. So is there any code in this options which is exactly same as this? Is there any code or is there any 3 address code in the option which is exactly same as the given code? Sir, the only code which is same as this option, as this particular code is with respect to option B. The only difference is rather than using P1, Q1, P2, Q2, they are using P3, Q4, P4, Q5. How does it matter that what value, what name is being given to the variable? Does it create any difference if you use any other name to a temporary variable? No, sir. So the correct answer is A minus B is being stored in the P3. Same P3 is being used here, multiplying being is being multiplied with C. Then a new variable is used. Then U into V in a new variable. Then P4 is with respect to this, which is my P2. Q4 is with respect to this, which is my Q1, and these two are being added and being stored in a new variable. So yes, option B is the correct answer. Option B is the correct answer. So it's, I mean, सिर्फ कंफ्यूज करने के लिए ये P3, Q4, Q5 लिख दिया कि अगर आपको डायरेक्टली निकालना आता है और अगर आप डायरेक्टली ये निकाल भी लेते हो तो फिर थोड़ा सा परेशान हो जाओ, उसके अलावा और कोई लॉजिक नहीं था. ठीक है, सो दिस इज द स्टैटिक सिंगल असाइनमेंट. आई होप यू हैव अंडरस्टूड दैट व्हाट डू आई मीन, दैट हर वेरिएबल बिफोर यू यूज इट, इट मस्ट बी डिफाइंड एंड नो वेरिएबल कैन बी यूज्ड ट्वाइस ऑन द LHS. Let's look at this. Consider the following code segment. Consider the following code segment. This is your code. Now it is asking the minimum number of total variables required. The minimum number of total variables required to convert the above code segment to static single statement. Now tell me, how many variables are used? How many variables are used to convert this code into SSA? How many variables are used to convert this given code into SSA? Sir, A, B, C, U and V. A, B, C, U and V are coming from outside. So these are the 5 plus, sir, 4 definitions, 4 instructions. So with respect to each instruction, you will have a temporary variable. So 5 plus 4, that is how many variables for this particular code in the static single assignment? Sir, 9 variable for this particular code in the static single assignment. Clear? Clear, clear, clear. Now, in this particular case, it is asking what is the minimum number of total variables required to convert the above code segment to static single assignment form. Please tell me, what will be the answer? Sir, generally, if you solve this question, you will get that, sir, B plus C, and let's assume that it is stored in A1, then A. So this is the last definition, so it will become A1 minus D, and let's assume that it is being stored in K1. Now this K, the last definition is K1, the last definition of B is nowhere available, so it is coming from outside, and it is being stored in A. So you cannot use the same A again, you will have to use a new A. Let's assume A2. Then what? Sir, V is coming from outside, W is also coming from outside. You are updating in U. So this is for the first time, it is U1. Apart from that, A. So the last definition of A is with respect to this variable A2. Last definition of U is with respect to this variable U1. So A minus U1. And it is being assigned into U. So this is U2. So how many variables are being used? How many variables are being used? Sir, from outside, How many variables are defined from outside, sir? B, C, D. So B, C, D. B is again V, W. From outside 5 plus number of instruction. How many instruction in the 3 address code? Sir, number of instruction are also 5. So 5 plus 5, total 10 variables are needed. Total 10 variables are needed in this particular assignment. Clear? B, C, U, W, D. B, C, V. V, not you. Anil, V, not you. Clear? So, sir, the number of variables in the SSA will be 10 if we use the code directly. But if the question, please try to understand this. If the question is of the type that what is the minimum number of total variables, then you will define it like this. But, okay. If they say in the equivalent and optimized 3 address code, then you may perform some optimization on this. I'm not explaining it here because there is no possibility of optimization. In this particular case. But please try to solve this. Consider the following code and the minimum number of total variables required to convert this code segment into SSA form. The minimum number of total variables required to convert this code segment into SSA form. You guys try this, तब तक मैं कुछ और ट्राई करता हूँ. What the answer? So please try to understand that sometimes if I directly do it, what will happen? So u minus t, the variable is x1. Then I'll use x1. V is being defined from outside, so this is y1. Here it will become y1. The w is being defined from the outside. This will become x2 because we have already defined x1 in the past. So x2. Now t is coming from the outside, so it will remain t. This z is also coming from the outside, so this will also remain z. But this time it will become y2. This x is the last definition of x. Last definition of x is x2. This y is the last definition of y. Last definition of y is y2. Now this time again being defined in the y, so it will be a new assignment to y3. Clear? So how many variables? In this particular case? Sir, u is being defined from outside, t is being defined from outside, v is being defined from outside, w is being defined from outside, t is already defined, z is also being defined from outside, so these are from outside. These are from outside plus how many statements are 5 instruction? So sir, 5 plus 5, 10 variables. In SSA. 10 variables in SSA. Yes or no? But let's try to understand this. So sometime it may be possible that if you try to evaluate the expression, then the number of variables will reduce. Sometimes, I don't know whether it will reduce in this particular case or not, but they may reduce. This is actually a question from GATE exam. This is actually, I believe this is a question from GATE exam. Yeah. So please try to understand this. Sir, try to solve this expression or try to write the 3 address code for this particular expression, which is most optimized. Most optimized means that is the 3 address code which is using the least number of variables. Please try to understand. For this, analysis is important. So first of all, you will have to evaluate u minus t. So either you can evaluate u minus t or first you can evaluate t minus z. Yes or no? Yes or no? So you can directly realize that there will be no benefit, because if you evaluate u minus t, then u will become free, and if you evaluate t minus z, then what? T and z will become free, right? So please try to understand this. Let me write the code. Let me first define this t minus z. And let's assume that I am using storing this t minus z in z. I am storing this t minus z in z. So obviously, because z is not used anywhere else, so we can use this t minus z in the z itself. Apart from that, let's define u minus t. Now, after u minus t, do we need u or t anywhere? No, sir. We have already evaluated t minus z. Therefore, t is also not required, as well as u is not required. So you can store either in u or in t. Now, then whatever this u is, it needs to be multiplied with v. Now, once you have multiplied this u minus t, which is present in u, with v, both u and v are useless. Therefore, you can use u again. Now, whatever this result of u minus t into v, it is available into u. Just add w with this. So with u, you can add w. With u, you can add w. And again, neither u is required nor w is required. So you can store it into either u or z. Now, what's the idea? So this u, finally, this u is basically with respect to this particular expression, and this z is with respect to this particular expression. So you need to multiply them. So you just need to multiply what? U multiply with z, and neither u is useful nor z is useful. So either you can update in u or z. So please try to understand. Sir, in this particular case, how many different variables are in the RHS? How many different variables are there in the RHS? Sir, the variables are t, z, u, t, z, u, t used, u used, v, u used, w, yes, and u and z are already done. Sir, so this 5 are being defined from the outside. And for this one, you can use z1, z2, etc. Getting the idea? You can use it. Sir, how will it happen? So please try to understand. With respect to 5 instruction, there will always be 5 new variables. So please look at this. Sir, t minus z, you can store it into z1. Right? Then you say u minus t, you can store it into u1. Then this u is the last definition, so it will become u1 into v, and you can store it into u2. Then it is u2 plus w, you can store it into u3. Then this is nothing but u3, and this is z1. u3 into z1, you can store it into u4. So same concept. What happens? Sir, t, z, u, v, w. T, z, u, v, w are defined from the outside. And z1, u1, u2, u3 and u4 are the new variables. Yes or no? Sir, again, so the answer for this, whether you optimize it or not, the answer will remain 10. But in some cases, if the question asks that what will be the number of variables in the SSA form with respect to optimize the 3 address code. With respect to equivalent optimize 3 address code, then you will also have to perform the optimization and then you will have to calculate the SSA. We have already seen all the concept of optimization. We have already seen all the concepts of optimization, that if there is any dead code, you can eliminate it. So all those things, that if there is any common sub expression, then you can eliminate common sub expression. So all those optimization can be performed, and after optimization, whatever the optimized code on that particular code, you will perform the SSA, or you will convert that optimized code into static single assignment form. Clear? So this is the normal idea. So I hope SSA is also clear to everybody. The basic definition of SSA is that every variable should be allocated only once, or every variable is allocated a value only once, and every variable must be defined before it is used. Clear? Done. Okay. Next one is the runtime environment. Next one is runtime environment. I'm just going to define that what is runtime environment. If at all a question comes, from the topic of runtime environment, it will be a theoretical question. If at all a question comes from this topic of runtime environment, it is guaranteed to be a theoretical question. Clear? So please, what do I mean by storage allocation? So please, when you are executing a program, the program will require the memory at the runtime. Yes or no? So runtime environment is nothing but runtime environment manages the runtime memory requirements. What's the use of runtime environment? So runtime environment manages the runtime memory requirements, that whatever the memory is required during the runtime of that particular program, it is managed using runtime environment. Clear? Now, so there are different things. You will understand all these things. What is the subdivision of runtime memory? What is the subdivision of runtime memory? So you all have seen this diagram in your notebooks or in your textbooks at some point of time, and you all know this. You all have seen this diagram, I'm sure. That first of all, you will this is your memory to program or process. So some memory will be allocated for the purpose of storing the code. Some memory will be allocated for purpose of storing the static data. What do I mean by static data? Static data is the data whose location is not going to change with the runtime. The data whose addresses are binded at the compile time itself, the location of those variables is, or those location of that data is not going to change with the runtime. Then apart from that, you will have some space for control stack, and you will have some space for heap, and this too will grow in the opposite direction. This too will grow in the opposite direction. Whenever the space is required in the form of stack, some of the space will be allocated from here, and whenever the space is required in the form of heap, it will be allocated from here. So more space, more done. So when this space becomes insufficient, then it is segmentation fault. When this space becomes insufficient, then it corresponds to segmentation fault, that okay, the memory is not sufficient for the execution of program. That's the idea, but that's the basic concept which you need to understand with respect to runtime environment. Have you all seen this diagram? So this is for the static allocation, that the memory is allocated to the text of the program at a fixed location, and the memory is also allocated to the static data of the program at the compile time itself. That location is not going to change with the execution of program. That location is not going to change with the execution of program. So there are three different allocation strategies to manage the memory requirement. One is the static allocation, another is the stack allocation, and one is the heap allocation. So static allocation is nothing but it is used to store the data for which the memory addresses are not going to change with the execution. So what is static allocation? In this allocation scheme, the code and data is bound to a fixed location in the memory, and it does not change with the execution of program. Yeah, fix. आपने एक बार लूट कर दिया, वो वहीं रहेगा, वो चेंज नहीं होगा. फिर आता है आपका stack allocation. Why do we need the stack? So you know that while executing the program, there will be number of procedures which will be called by the callers. So for that purpose, you all know from the concept of data structure that when one function calls another function, then will push the previous function is already in the stack, then you will push a new function into the stack. When they start returning, they will be popped from the stack. That's the concept. That's the same stack which we are talking about. So this is the stack allocation. Procedure calls and their activation are managed by the means of stack memory allocation. So whenever a procedure is called, then we need to push that procedure along with its activation record into the stack. Along with its activation record into the stack. What is activation record? Which will pass the information that from where the data will, from where you will access the data, how you will access the data, what was the state of the CPU when the caller called this particular procedure, etc. Right? So what happens whenever a procedure is called? Whenever a procedure is called, an activation record corresponding to that particular procedure will be pushed into the stack, and as soon as the control returns to the caller. What does it mean? That is, as soon as the execution of that called procedure completes, that activation record will be popped. So there will be push pop, push pop, push pop continuously. Nothing more than that. So what are the things which are available in the activation record? This may be a question which can be asked. This may be a question which can be asked, that what particular thing is used for what particular purpose. So please try to understand. In general, activation record consists of the following things. Temporary, ये क्या होता है? सर, जब आप किसी प्रोग्राम को एग्जीक्यूट करते हो तो वो ड्यूरिंग द एग्जीक्यूशन जो इन बिटवीन जो वैल्यूज प्रोड्यूस होती हैं उनको स्टोर करने के लिए कहाँ स्टोर करके रखेगा, राइट? सो जो टेम्परेरी वेरिएबल आप जब टेम्परेरी वैल्यूज जो प्रोड्यूस होती हैं बिकॉज ऑफ द ऑपरेशन, वो स्टोर कराने के लिए हम एक स्पेस देते हैं इन द फॉर्म ऑफ टेम्परेरीज. देन होता है लोकल डेटा. कुछ डेटा होता है जो सिर्फ सॉरी गाइस, कुछ डेटा होता है जो सिर्फ उसी पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पर रिक्वायर्ड होता है जब उस पर्टिकुलर प्रोसीजर को एग्जीक्यूट किया जा रहा है. अदरवाइज उस डेटा की मेमोरी में कोई रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है. तो वो डेटा जो लोकल है उस पर्टिकुलर प्रोसीजर के लिए, उस डेटा को भी स्टोर कराने के लिए स्पेस एलोकेट किया जाता है स्टैक की फॉर्म में. देन मशीन स्टेटस. सर ये क्या चीज है? ये मशीन स्टेटस ये बताती है कि जब कॉलर ने आप इस न्यू प्रोसीजर को कॉल किया था, तो जब कॉलर ने कॉल किया था तो उस टाइम पे सीपीयू की कुछ स्टेट होगी, प्रोग्राम काउंटर की अपनी कुछ वैल्यू होगी, जनरल पर्पस रजिस्टर की अपनी कुछ वैल्यूज होगी, ठीक है, स्टैक पॉइंटर की अपनी कुछ वैल्यूज होंगी. हर प्रोसेस के करस्पॉन्डिंग अपनी वैल्यूज होती हैं, राइट? तो जब आपको कॉलर ने इस प्रोसीजर को कॉल किया उस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पर सीपीयू की क्या स्टेट थी वो मैं स्टोर करके रखता हूं करंट प्रोसीजर के एक्टिवेशन रिकॉर्ड में, सो दैट जब ये प्रोसीजर रिटर्न करे तो मैं सीपीयू को उसी स्टेट में ला करके खड़ा कर पाऊं जिस स्टेट में वो था जब इस प्रोसीजर को कॉल किया गया. दिस इज द कॉन्सेप्ट व्हिच इज रिलेटेड टू द इंटरप्ट एंड सबरूटीन ऑफ द सीओए. आप इंटरप्ट और सबरूटीन में जो सीओए में पढ़ते हो कि जब भी मैं किसी सबरूटीन को कॉल करता हूं, या जब भी मैं किसी सबरूटीन को कॉल करता हूं, तो जब वो सबरूटीन कॉल होता है तो जिसने उसको कॉल किया है उसका उस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पर जो भी आपका स्टेट था, नॉट इन द फॉर्म ऑफ सबरूटीन बट इन द फॉर्म ऑफ इंटरप्ट, बेसिकली कि जब भी मैं किसी इंटरप्ट को कॉल करता हूं तो जो भी स्टेट थी सीपीयू की उसको होल्ड करके रखना पड़ता है. फिर एक कंप्लीट नई प्रोसेस एग्जीक्यूट होती है. जब वो कंप्लीट इंटरप्ट का एग्जीक्यूशन हो जाता है तो वापस से सीपीयू को उसी पॉइंट से स्टार्ट करना होता है जिस पॉइंट पे आपका मेन प्रोग्राम था जब इंटरप्ट आया. तो उस पर्पस के लिए आपको सीपीयू की जो स्टेट है उसको मैनेज करके चलना होता है, एंड दैट विल बी अवेलेबल इन द फॉर्म ऑफ मशीन स्टेटस. देन कम्स द कंट्रोल लिंक. ये क्या है? इट विल प्रोवाइड द लिंक टू द कॉलर. सॉरी गाइस, just 2 minutes. It will provide the link to the caller कि जब आप रिटर्न करो तो आपको वापस से किस पोजीशन पे जाना है. सो इट इज बेसिकली द लिंक टू द कॉलर, राइट? ये एक्सेस लिंक है. सर कुछ ऐसा डेटा हो सकता है जो आपका ये प्रोसीजर एक्सेस करने वाला है लेकिन वो विद इन दी प्रोसीजर डिफाइंड नहीं है. तो अगर आपका ये प्रोसीजर किसी ऐसे डेटा को एक्सेस करने वाला है जो एक्सटर्नली डिफाइंड है, तो उसको डिफाइन करने के लिए भी आपको इसको लिंक प्रोवाइड करनी पड़ेगी कि आप कभी भी अगर उस डेटा को एक्सेस करना चाहो तो आप उसको कैसे करोगे. सो टू एक्सेस डेटा which is defined externally, यही चीजें थी, बाकी तो और सब आपको नाम से समझ में आता है। टेम्परेरी, जो टेम्परेरी वैल्यूज को स्टोर कराने के लिए स्पेस है। लोकल डेटा, जो उस प्रोसीजर के करस्पॉन्डिंग लोकल डेटा है उसको स्टोर कराने के लिए। मशीन स्टेटस, सीपीयू का कंट्रोलिंग, और ये दो समझ में। रिटर्न वैल्यू तो ये कभी होगी कभी नहीं होगी। रिटर्न वैल्यू अगर आपका, जरूरी नहीं है कि हर प्रोसीजर रिटर्न मारे, जरूरी नहीं है कि हर प्रोसीजर रिटर्न मारे, तो जो प्रोसीजर रिटर्न मारेंगे उनके लिए मैं ये स्पेस अलोकेट करवाऊंगा, अदरवाइज नहीं करवाऊंगा। और एक्चुअल पैरामीटर्स आपको कॉलर ने जब कॉल किया था, कॉलर ने जब इस प्रोसीजर को कॉल किया तो उसने कुछ एक्चुअल पैरामीटर्स पास किए होंगे। वो पैरामीटर्स क्या है, उनको स्टोर कराने के लिए भी मैं एक्टिवेशन रिकॉर्ड में स्पेस देता हूं कि जब आपको कॉल किया गया तो आपके पैरामीटर्स क्या थे, आपको कहां से शुरू करना है, आपको कहां से शुरू करना है। सो दिस आर नथिंग बट दी पैरामीटर्स passed by caller. That's it. So this last topic that is runtime environment is just a theoretical topic. और जितना बताया उसमें से ही अगर कुछ आना है तो उसी में से आना है, जितना बताया है उसी में से कुछ आना है। आपका जो हीप एलोकेशन है उसका काम क्या है सर, स्टैक के अंदर एक बार स्पेस एलोकेट हो गया तो वो रहेगा, लेकिन हीप के अंदर कैसे होता है कि अगर आप जो डायनेमिक मेमोरी एलोकेशन होती है, जो आप मैलॉक या कैलॉग, लेट्स अज्यूम कि आपने एक प्रोसीजर को कॉल किया, लेकिन उस प्रोसीजर को कुछ पॉइंटर्स की रिक्वायरमेंट थी, तो पहले से थोड़ी ना पता है कि इसको कौन कौन से पॉइंटर लगने वाले हैं। जब वो एग्जीक्यूट करना शुरू करेगा तभी पता चलेगा, जब वो पॉइंटर्स के लिए स्पेस की रिमाइंड करेगा। तो आप जो मैलॉक, कैलॉग, डी अलॉक, ये सारे के सारे फंक्शंस यूज करते हो, तो अगर आप मैलॉक करके कभी भी मेमोरी एलोकेट करवा रहे हो तो आपको हीप एरिया से एलोकेट होगी। अगर आपने कभी भी मैलॉक का यूज किया है तो आपको वो हीप एरिया से ही अवेलेबल होगी, वो कहीं और से अवेलेबल नहीं होगी। तो डायनेमिक या फिर रन टाइम पे आपको अगर किसी मेमोरी स्पेस को अलोकेट करवाना है डायनेमिकली, तो उस पर्पस के लिए हम एक हीप मेमोरी अलोकेट करते हैं कि आपको जब भी किसी नए वेरिएबल्स के लिए स्पेस की रिक्वायरमेंट है तो वो स्पेस आपको डायनेमिकली अलोकेट किया जाएगा, और जब भी उस वेरिएबल का काम कंप्लीट हो जाएगा तो मैं वो जो आपको मेमोरी अलोकेट की थी वो वापस से क्लेम कर लूंगा, वो आई क्लेम इट बैक, राइट। तो मैं आपसे वापस से ले लूंगा, ठीक है। सो दैट्स द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ हीप एलोकेशन। इट्स सेम, एग्जैक्टली सेम एज डेटा स्ट्रक्चर। सो इट्स जस्ट अ टॉपिक व्हिच इज प्रेजेंट कि कंपाइलर अगर जब फाइनली कोड एग्जीक्यूट करता है तो मेमोरी का मैनेजमेंट कैसे होता है, इट्स अ डिफरेंट थिंग, बट अल्टीमेटली इट इज फ्रॉम द डिफरेंट टॉपिक्स कि सीओए को कैसे समझते हो, तो वहां पर क्या क्या चाहिए, ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम को कैसे समझते हो, डेटा स्ट्रक्चर को कैसे समझते हो, रिकर्शन को कैसे समझ सकते हो। तो इन सबका मिला जुला रूप है आपका ये रन टाइम एनवायरमेंट। सो डोंट वरी लॉट अबाउट दिस। इफ एट ऑल अ क्वेश्चन कम्स फ्रॉम दिस टॉपिक इट विल बी थ्योरेटिकल, और जितना मैंने बताया यही से बन जाएगा, ठीक है। चलो गाइस, तो इसी के साथ हम बोलते हैं दी एंड फॉर दी कंपाइलर डिजाइन। फॉर टाइम बीइंग यू गाइस मे बी आस्किंग कि सर नेक्स्ट सब्जेक्ट कौन सा है, तो अभी 2-4 दिनों के लिए मेरा एक दूसरा सेशन है, उसके अंदर मैं एसक्यूएल के कॉन्सेप्ट डिस्कस करूंगा। आई होप यू ऑल नो दी मॉनसून सीरीज कॉन्सेप्ट। सो एसक्यूएल विल बी डिस्कस्ड इन मॉनसून सीरीज, and it will start from 16th of August. It will be only it will last for only 5 days. After conducting those 5 sessions, I'll start a new session in the Prarambh series. Clear? After completing those 5 sessions of monsoon series, I will start a new subject in the Prarambh series. Till then, आप भी वेट करो, थोड़ा सा नोट्स रिवाइज करो, सारे पीवाईक्यू लगा लो। किसी को कोई भी डाउट आता है तो आप मुझसे पूछ सकते हो। आप अगर CS बाय विशाल रावतिया सर्च करोगे टेलीग्राम पे, यही है शायद, तो आपको टेलीग्राम लिंक मिल जाएगा। CS बाय विशाल रावतिया सर्च करोगे तो आपको टेलीग्राम लिंक मिल जाएगा, उसको ज्वाइन कर लो। कोई भी डाउट आता है तो आप मुझसे वहां पर पूछ सकते है ना। ओके, सो दिस इज इट गाइस। आई होप आप लोगों को कंपाइलर डिजाइन अब उतना टफ नहीं लगेगा जितना हम लोग कर सकते थे, जितना गेट में पूछा जा सकता था। मैंने आपसे सब कुछ डिस्कस किया है। हाँ, कुछ लिमिटेशंस हैं तो थोड़ी बहुत प्रैक्टिस आपको करनी पड़ेगी। एक बार पीवाईक्यू सारे लगा लो, आपके सारे डाउट्स खत्म हो जाएंगे। एक बार सारे पीवाईक्यू लगा लो, आपके सारे डाउट्स खत्म हो जाएंगे। 2 या 3 क्वेश्चंस में मैक्सिमम डाउट आएगा, उससे ज्यादा में डाउट आएगा नहीं। 2 या 3 क्वेश्चंस में डाउट आएगा, जितना मैंने पढ़ाया है उसके बाद। तो 2 या 3 क्वेश्चन में डाउट आएगा, वो आप मुझसे पूछ सकते हो, एंड देन आपका कंपाइलर डिजाइन का डर ही खत्म हो जाएगा। गारंटी लेकर के चलो कंपाइलर डिजाइन के। आप जब क्वेश्चन देखोगे पीवाईक्यू के, यू विल रियलाइज कि अरे ऐसे क्वेश्चन आते हैं क्या, इसका मतलब 100% ये जो 3 या 4 नंबर, चाहे वेटेज कम हो, प्लीज, मैंने इसीलिए कंपाइलर डिजाइन शुरू भी किया था कि हो सकता है इसका वेटेज कम हो, कि बाकी सब्जेक्ट सर 10 मार्क्स के आते हैं, इसके सिर्फ 3-4 मार्क्स आते हैं, तो बाकी सब्जेक्ट को कंप्लीट करने के लिए 2-2 महीने लग जाते हैं। इस सब्जेक्ट को कंप्लीट करने के लिए हमने 12-13 लेक्चर में कंप्लीट कर दिया। सो आई होप कि अगर मैं प्रॉफिट रेशो के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से देखूं कि कितने एफर्ट्स पे कितने मार्क्स मिल रहे हैं, तो कंपाइलर सबसे अच्छा है कि मिनिमम एफर्ट पे मैक्सिमम आउटपुट, मिनिमम एफर्ट पे मैक्सिमम आउटपुट। क्लियर? थैंक यू संगू, थैंक यू महेश। आसान ही है यार, सब आसान है एक्चुअल में। क्या है ना, अगर आप एक बार प्रोसेस को फॉलो करके सब्जेक्ट पढ़ने की कोशिश करोगे तो सारे सब्जेक्ट आसान है। कनेक्टिविटी होनी चाहिए कि इसके बाद ये क्यों है, इसके बाद ये क्यों है, इसके बाद ये क्यों है। अगर आप वो कनेक्टिविटी डिफाइन कर पाए, अगर रैंडमली उठा करके आप एसडीडी पढ़ने लगोगे, रैंडमली उठा करके अगर आप एसडीटी पढ़ने लगोगे तो आपको कुछ समझ में नहीं आएगा। सो फॉलो प्रोसेस, जिस ऑर्डर में चीजों को कंप्लीट किया जाना चाहिए उसी ऑर्डर में चीजों को कंप्लीट करो, एंड अल्टीमेटली यू विल अंडरस्टैंड ईच एंड एवरीथिंग ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर सब्जेक्ट। सो फॉलो an order, follow the connectivity, connect the dots. If you are connecting the dots when you are learning a new topic, then you will understand the complete subject by the end of all these sessions. So that will be all guys, thank you very much. If you like this session, then do hit the like button. If you are new to the channel, then please subscribe for the channel and press the bell icon so that you will get the notification about our upcoming video. And please join this SQL series. In this I'll discuss all the basic concepts of SQL along with the questions. Practice questions will be there in the YouTube itself, and the concept will also be there related to the SQL. So please do attend the session. Till then, take care, good night, and for tomorrow, a very happy Independence Day to all of you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.